What are we about to do right now? Today we're going to look at how everyone's favorite Spanish celebrity, Hilaria Baldwin, who's actually just a lady named Hillary from Boston, Massachusetts. So who the heck is Hilaria Baldwin? She's most known for being married to Alec Baldwin, a huge actor in America. The conflict here is that people on Twitter started getting suspicious of Hilaria's background. Before I talk about that, I want to talk about today's sponsor, Grammarly. Today's video is sponsored by Grammarly, a digital writing assistant that helps over 20 million people write clearer. I have a very conversational way of speaking, which is great when I'm talking like this, but in writing has literally never made sense. Like, imagine if I typed a text version of the words I just said. I did, and Grammarly was like, do you mind if we make some suggestions? See, the free version of Grammarly checks your basic spelling and grammar, but Grammarly Premium, vocabulary suggestions, sentence structure corrections, conciseness, all of the things that exit my brain whenever I have to write something remotely professional, like notes for my editors. It makes my job easier. It'll definitely make your job easier. Grammarly also has a plagiarism detector, which can check your work against basically anything on the internet. See, look, I plagiarized this article about myself. Definitely would have come in handy when I was in school. Go to grammarly.com/D'Angelo for 20% off Grammarly Premium today and get the free browser extension in just a few clicks. In 2013, right after Alec Baldwin had gotten married, he went on the Letterman show and had a few words to say about his wife.
My wife is from Spain.
If you go to her IMDb bio, it used to say Hilaria Baldwin was born in Mallorca, Spain, as Hilaria Thomas. Her agency itself, which you have to submit your info to, by the way, it says Baldwin was born in Mallorca, Spain, and raised in Boston, Massachusetts.
I had like 35 or 40 of my family members come from Spain.
There's this big magazine called Latina Magazine. At Hilaria Baldwin, we should probably just give you a permanent spot on our best dressed list, to which she says, at Latina, haha, I'll take it. I don't know how exactly you get a whole profile in Latina Magazine if you are from Spain and therefore European. So I don't know why she was leaning so hard into the whole Latina thing. They describe her as the Spanish American belleza. So there's a quote from her in Vanity Fair magazine, the Spanish version, that says, I had to tell my family 3 times, Baldwin. And then the 3rd time they told me, oh, we know who he is. Why didn't you just pronounce it right the first time? So now, not only has she claimed to have 35 or 40 family members in Spain, she has now claimed out of her own mouth that her family is so Spanish, in fact, they can't pronounce non-Spanish last names like Baldwin. We have her wearing an España jersey, and she has in the caption, in case there was any question about mi cultura upbringing.
And one
here with your
share.
parents?
No. I moved here when I was 19 to go to NYU. And from my family lives in Spain. They live in Mallorca.
It seems to me like she was quite okay having us all think that she was actually from Spain. And I'm sure you know what's coming next because these stories literally all go the same way. This Twitter user right here says, you have to admire Hilaria Baldwin's commitment to her decade-long grift where she impersonates a Spanish person. So Twitter started doing what Twitter literally always does. They started digging up old things. People started questioning her Spanish accent. And that's where things really started falling apart for her.
We have, what is it? Cucumbers. We have red pepper.
Married life is really nice. You know, it feels different.
Then if we fast forward a bit,
I'm in shape before I have a baby, and then I
It's
stay
gone.
active when I'm pregnant.
over the course of 6 years, your accent can absolutely disappear. I didn't see that as enough proof that she was faking anything. But that was not the end of it. These are her parents, Catherine Hayward and David Thomas Jr. As you may have guessed, neither of these people is from Spain. Hilaria Thomas's name was not Hilaria Thomas. She was not born in Spain. Neither of her parents are of Spanish descent, and her name on her birth certificate is not Hilaria. It's Hillary, whose family just traveled to Spain a lot. So she wound up spending a lot of time in Spain as a child as well.
Mareada. Sí, pero estoy bien, sí. Cansada,
She
mareada,
speaks
pero
it.
estoy bien, no.
The problem here is that this is an American woman She's bilingual. That's it. This does not make you a Spanish person. This does not give you the right to be on Latina magazine. This was the first video she released the day Twitter was like, oh snap, your name is Hillary and you are from Boston and you are not Spanish.
There's been some questions about where I'm born. I'm born in Boston. And then I spent some of my childhood in Boston, some of my childhood in Spain. In this country, I would use the name Hillary, and in Spain, I would use the name Hilaria. Then, a handful of years before I met Alec, I decided to consolidate the two. Something about our wedding that, I have all these people from Spain come over for my wedding. We had 44 people come over, my family, my friends come over. In the past, I would get very frustrated when reporters would report this or report that, or and I'd try to be very clear.
The point where you're in a Spanish interview claiming that your family is so Spanish, they couldn't even pronounce Baldwin, but your mom and dad are Catherine and Dave from America. I feel like it's safe to say there was a bit of trickery going on. She put out the second video.
All the interviews and stuff like that I do is a little bit like playing a game of telephone, where you say something and they report something else.
I was reading a direct quote.
And people, they want to label you. I have dark hair and I, speak 2 languages and stuff.
If she is so worried about people labeling her, why then would you go on Latina magazine?
People wanting to label me or Spanish or American, and then it can't be both together. It can't be that I have 2 cultures.
Why do you need so badly to be something other than American?
Maybe that doesn't look like somebody who you've met before, but isn't that the beauty of diversity?
Diversity? You are a white woman in America. So Alec Baldwin himself, he said, you know what? You guys are attacking my wife for misleading you. I'm gonna attack you.
I just want to say to people that, as a quick little thought, which is that you got to consider the source.
He's the source.
You have to consider the source. Consider the source. Consider the source.
Okay.
Consider the source. Consider the source. If someone said to me...
Brainwashing. He's brainwashing us into forgetting the Hilaria Baldwin controversy.
Consider the source.
Stop.
Consider the source. When you love somebody, you want to defend them.
What the heck is happening? What is happening? What just happened?
Consider the source.
It just evolved into Alec Baldwin, boyfriend ASMR, brainwashing. So listen, I want to end this stream by highlighting other people's voices. So this is from Ara Bogado. The fact that Hilaria Baldwin pretended to be from Spain with that ridiculous accent while some of us have been denied opportunities for our actual accents is disgusting. The fact that she pretended to be an immigrant at a time of hatred, detention, and deportation is sick. These are things that exist and are particular to certain people. Immigrants of color with accents find it even more challenging. It's beyond offensive that Hilaria Baldwin pretended to be someone she's not. Next time, hopefully before she spits all of those facts, she thinks about considering the source. And then we can take her seriously, okay? The second one I want to listen to, Jesus Rosas.
I'm sure she fell in love with Spanish culture with the paellas and the tapas. I think it's great that she's raising her children to be bilingual, but it's another thing to force her Latina attitude to look more Latina. And by the way, Latino and Spanish are 2 different things, and if you mix them up, Sofia Vergara will come and kick you in the face. You might say that this is all about show business nonsense, but I think it's a very interesting discussion. It's great when you feel attracted to a different culture, like, for example, how the Japanese love flamenco music. But if you pretend that you're something that you're not, even if you're just vague about it, it's not going to end well, especially if you are a very public person.
Did he just spit facts for 3 minutes in a row? He didn't miss once, okay? Listening to minority people, marginalized groups, people of color, all of that jazz is all well and good. But you are allowed to reject their opinions if they fail to consider the source. If we've learned anything here, if you ever make a mistake in life, you can just pay Alec Baldwin to brainwash everyone into forgetting that you did it. Anyway, I'll be here all week, folks, at 2 p.m. Central Time. If it's Monday, Wednesday, or Friday, that means I'm uploading a new video here. If it's Tuesday, Thursday, or Saturday, that means I'm going live over on Twitch. So basically what I'm trying to say here is, I'll see you tomorrow. Unless, of course, tomorrow is Sunday, in which case, just watch this video again. Okay, bye.